On this channel, we've begun to discuss the poor practices of Hollywood, a place that's supposed to be the land of fame and fortune for hopefuls seeking to achieve their dreams. While this might be true for some, we can't sweep under the rug the events that may have caused pain or even death for the actors and crew of these films. So let's start a discussion. Here are some of the accidents and deaths that occurred on movie sets. The Conqueror. The exterior shots of The Conqueror were shot on location near St. George, Utah, 137 miles downwind of the Nevada test site. The site during that time was used for extensive above-ground nuclear weapons testing as part of Operation Upshot Knothole. The consequence of them filming would hit years later, when cast and crew started developing different cancers at an alarming rate. The cast and crew totaled 220 people, and by 1981, 91 of them had developed some kind of cancer, and 46 of them had died. A Clockwork Orange. During the pivotal brainwashing scene, Malcolm McDowell suffered a scratched cornea and almost lost his sight from having his eyes propped open for so long. The doctor sitting beside McDowell, applying eye drops to keep his character's eyes hydrated, was a real doctor, there to make sure he didn't go blind. Director Stanley Kubrick has been known to be rather harsh on his actors, and Malcolm wasn't spared from it. In a scene which a man forces his character Alex to the ground and stomps on him, Kubrick insisted he do it for real, resulting in cracked ribs. The Exorcist. Linda Blair, the star of the Possession film, suffered a spinal fracture when the mechanical device that made her character sit up and thrash about on the levitating bed malfunctioned. The fracture then developed into scoliosis, and later, while filming a motorcycle scene in another movie, she re-injured her back. She's quoted as saying, "I had a lot of difficulty living with the aftermath of The Exorcist. The back injury was far more serious than I ever imagined and really affected my health negatively for a long time." She wasn't the only one to suffer. Ellen Burstyn also endured a back injury when Reagan slaps her and she flies backward. She had a rig around her waist and was yanked back by a stuntman, to which she said it was too hard and she was going to get hurt. Ignoring her complaint, the director instructed him to give it to her this time. In the scene, you hear her scream and reach for her back. The pain is real. The Karate Kid 3. Actor Sean Kanan suffered internal bleeding after 20 takes of being thrown out of a door and landing on his stomach. 4 days after shooting, he and his girlfriend were at a Las Vegas hotel when he told her, "I think I'm going to faint," and fell unconscious. Paramedics determined that he had an alarmingly low blood pressure that they were unable to raise in the 10-minute ambulance ride to the hospital. In the emergency room, doctors discovered 2 quarts of blood pooled in his abdomen from heavy internal bleeding. This was caused by the damage he'd taken during shooting and the aspirin he'd followed it with to help ease the pain, which thinned out his blood. The actor survived, and he was very lucky to have done so. The Hobbit. There are occasions when the victims of film sets are even more helpless to fight back. On the set of The Hobbit, poor practices put many animals' lives in danger. The problem was the farm they were kept on. Up to 27 animals were killed while filming, including several goats and sheep that fell into a sinkhole, a horse that was hobbled and left on the ground for 3 hours, a second horse killed after falling off of an overcrowded paddock, and a third horse that had a muscle torn from her leg by a wire fence. Several chickens were also mauled by unsupervised dogs or trampled by larger animals. Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. A tragic scene left 35-year-old stunt double Olivia Jackson severely injured, while during a high-speed motorcycle chase, she collided with a camera arm.
We just had a stunt, we had to drive in a straight line, and coming towards me in the opposite direction was a camera vehicle, so it's a Mercedes SUV with a crane off the side of it, and a camera on the end of the crane. As I went towards it, the camera coming in the opposite direction, was supposed to start on the floor, and then as I come towards it, lifts up and over me. It just didn't lift the camera in time, so I went straight into it.
Her resulting injuries included cerebral trauma, a crushed and degloved face, a severed artery in her neck, a paralyzed arm which later had to be amputated, several broken ribs, a shattered scapula, a broken clavicle, torn fingers with a thumb that needed to be amputated, and 5 nerves torn out of her spinal cord. The accident had Olivia put in a medically induced coma for 2 weeks. She's currently suing and awaiting trial. Twilight Zone, the movie. On July 23, 1982, an accident resulted in the death of actor Vic Morrow and child actors Renee Shinnie Chin and Micah Din Lee. During the night scene, a helicopter was hovering 25 feet above a mortar effect. As the helicopter rotated to the left for the next camera shot, the effect went off early and hit the tail rotor, causing it to fail and detach from the tail. The helicopter spun out of control and fell into the water, its tail slicing into the 3 actors. The children were not legally allowed to even be on set at night, but director John Landis paid them under the table to do so. The helicopter pilot knew they were flying too low, but Landis demanded they stay low. While the scene was clearly not used in the movie, the accident was caught on film. I'm not allowed to show it here on YouTube, but if you're subscribed to my Patreon, I've posted it there. Filmmaking is considered a dream for some. Watching their creations come to life is a feeling that must be incredible, and some directors demand only the best shots to make it happen. But one has to ask, how far are you willing to go? How many people are you willing to hurt in order to see your vision become a reality? Thanks for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe for more documentaries and horror-related topics. I've seen a massive increase in subscribers in the last few weeks due to my Shirley Temple video, and I do appreciate each and every one of you for joining me as I delve into the darker side of Hollywood. The purpose of these documentaries is to inform, as no one taught me these things in school, but I wish they had. If you have a topic you'd like me to bring to light, you can email me in the description below, or send me a message on Twitter. Until next time, be well.